All right, we're here. The future is here. It is 2023. You can no longer refer to the Roaring 20s as the 1920s. There's a new set of 20s in town.
These are the new Roaring 20s?
These are the new Roaring 20s, but we're roaring for the wrong reasons. We're coughing because it's cedar season here in Austin, Texas. It goes from the most wonderful time of the year to the worst time of the year. And the white Christmas you dream about in Austin is cedar pollen.
Unfortunately, the stores will only let you buy so much Advil, cold, and sinus.
Yeah. You get carded more at CVS and Walgreens than you do at the bar this time of year.
Absolutely. Are folks still making meth out of Advil, cold, and sinus? Is that still a thing?
Apparently it is. I don't know. I didn't know meth seems out.
Or do folks just abuse those? I don't know what's going on, but it's an excellent pill.
Yeah, they still get carded, but you just can't live without it here in Austin. You need the Flonase. You need all the allergens. And did you know that those trees they're not indigenous to this area? They're a plague. They're a literal plague.
What do you mean?
Somebody planted too many of them or something, and they planted a bunch of male trees, and they brought it in from this area. Like, they're not natural to this area. They're the dingoes of Central Texas.
Well,
I don't approve.
I don't approve of that either.
So
Why would somebody do that? You're right. Nature needs balance.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anthony. Finally, somebody said it.
Iguanas in South Florida. Oh, yeah. In South Florida. I don't know if when I was there a couple of years back, that was unreal. They just are walking around everywhere. But they look like slee stacks from Land of the Lost. I'm waiting for them to just be upright. What's up, JJ? We live, pal.
JJ.
Yeah, those iguanas down there are terrifying. They're huge. What's up, Tubes? See, we got this is the uniform of cedar season.
Right.
You got to protect yourself.
I'm wearing dark glasses because my eyes are popping out of my head like Total Recall.
2 weeks, which is
weeks.
the worst time for cedar. 2 weeks, and we're in week 2, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, man, 2023. We had a fun show with JJ last week. Reminiscing on all the stuff. So much stuff that we missed stuff. We missed talking about CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, but it's too late. We got to move forward. We want to move the future. And I was awake with Cedar Fever, and I was like, well, let me follow along with Wrestle Kingdom.
You were texting me at like 5 a.m. about that.
I was watching Wrestle Kingdom via Twitter, and then next thing you know, the formerly known as Sasha Banks.
FKA?
FKA. Sasha Banks is now Mercedes Money. She's the CEO, and she faced Kairi Sane after her big match there and challenged her, and she's going to be working for New Japan Stardom next week, February.
Yep.
Did you see her hair? I thought it was something with my phone.
Yeah, I did see her hair.
It's like it looks great, but it's like a weird multicolored
thing. It's like multicolored leopard spots.
Yeah. It's fantastic. And she already dropped her Pro Wrestling Tees store. And I don't know if it's if it's a pop for it or a shirt, but yeah, and it already has that hair. But right now, JJ, and always feel free we're watching a little bit along here with Dynamite, dropped spoilers, but obviously next week, even though today is their season premiere and they debuted the new lights, the new set, which looks really good. But next week is the mystery match with FKA Paige Saraya, mystery partner against Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. And do you think it feels like a lock, right?
It's got to be.
It's got to be.
Who else could it possibly be?
Well, there was the return of Thunder Rosa, which doesn't look like it's happening. Mandy Rose, which it's too soon. But now you got Mercedes posting pictures with FTR in the back in the locker room. I thought it was interesting, these pictures that got posted. It was with FTR, Mercedes, but Naomi and Bailey were in these pictures too. Yeah, it may have been a Bam Bam Bigelow tribute.
I think Triple H is a little more lenient.
Yeah, he's a lot more lenient, I think. Yeah. Wow, I didn't realize how much her hair did look like Bam Bam Bigelow's trunks. But she is the student of the game, so I think she's a lock for next week. I feel like it's a lock, but you had a good theory. You said it's announcing it without announcing it so they get the ratings pop.
Doing that CM Punk gimmick again.
Yeah.
But let's see how it works out. It'll be great for AEW.
They need it.
They need it. With the new set and everything, time to get reinvigorated. It's a brand new year.
Yeah.
I'm going to lean into AEW again with a clean heart and a clean mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still we speculated about this. If you go through our 2 pages, go back a few, we were wanting Sasha to show up, and we already had a dream match with Thunder Rosa, who had the strap at the time. We just thought that would have been a great match, but she's got Paige there now. The women's division is really, really picking up there. And it's going from the men's division trying to find itself after the scrum ride from hell, now trying to find itself. But it looks like maybe the women's division is what's going to help AEW get its groove back.
Why is it we've talked about this before, but why is it that the women's divisions in both of the major wrestling promotions here just seem to be so much more interesting?
They're way more interesting.
And it's not just because we're guys and we like to watch women wrestle. There's just something better.
There is, yeah. I don't know. They all feel, you know what it is? We've said it many times on here. They're living their gimmick. They all have a very distinct personality, a distinct flavor. Even the promos are a little bit more generico, but their gimmick, their presentation, everything about it just feels special. They feel like stars. I mean, we had another return. Charlotte Flair came back last week out of nowhere, unannounced, and took the belt from Ronda Rousey. And that was like the biggest news to come out of WWE on the same show that you had Uncle Howdy, Captain Howdy, Bray Wyatt, his alter ego, which is rumored to be his brother, Bo Dallas, comes out. And I feel like more people were talking about Charlotte than this Bray Wyatt match.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, Anthony put it well. It is a great mix of the personality and the athletics. I feel like the women do go for it. I don't know if you're an MMA, UFC guy, but I can tell you the women's fights are hands down a million times better. And my theory there is just, I think women are more aggressive, and the guys have their ego and they don't necessarily want to lose, so they're waiting for somebody else to make a mistake. But the women, they're going to punch you in the face and make you make a mistake. So I don't know if we're seeing like the pro wrestling version of that, but I'm here for it because Britt's already a star. Soraya's a star. Jamie, we've talked about this before with Jamie. She finally got her belt. AEW tended to always pull the string a little bit too late and kind of fall flat. And I don't think that's happened to Jamie Hayter yet, because it's still very intriguing what's going to happen. So now you're going to put her with 3 of the biggest women stars in pro wrestling, and she's going to be surrounded about that. She's going to get that rub. Yeah. That needed rub. So yeah. I'm excited for it, man. I don't know what she's going to do. It's going to be hard to not have Mercedes in there and not have the belt. Like, how does she not have the belt? It's going to be tough. Don't you think?
I think so. I think it will be very tough. But, here's the thing. I know that they're positioning her right now where she's going to come into this match with Saraya and Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. It's a tag match, but I mean, could Mercedes Moné be the one to take the belt off of Jade Cargill?
Oh, now that's interesting. And make that belt. Oh, yeah, because that's a good point. Jade Cargill's got to get in the mix too, because she's also got that. To me, she doesn't feel like she's lost her shine. Like, I feel like she still feels like a special attraction. Yeah. I mean, she comes out and she gives herself a different paint job every time, and it's good. Yeah. That's a money match. You got Money versus Jade. Yeah. Wow. Because again, we were at the stage. How do you not have the belt on Saraya?
Yeah.
But then again, how does Britt not have the belt? So you have a problem of so many top stars. That's a happiness problem, pal.
Britt has the belt by proxy in a way because her protege has the belt.
Yeah.
So in the way she's still attached to it, you know?
Yeah.
But who's going to take the belt from Jade eventually? Who could even possibly?
She put herself in a very unique Roman Reigns situation because who takes the belt from Roman? Who takes the belt from Jade? Right now, Mercedes would probably be the only one that you feel like could do it that makes sense. Of course, you have some of the other, like with Britt and Saraya, but I feel like has much momentum as you got WWE's top female attraction now in AEW. And we shouldn't even call her WWE because she's also a Star Wars main attraction. She's the CEO, as she puts it. So she could be a good candidate. Are you ready for her to take that belt? Like, are you ready for Jade to lose the belt?
I mean, it's probably around that time.
Because you have that undefeated streak.
She's got her streak.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously that's the second tier belt for AEW, and I don't know if that's an issue. But again, then, Mercedes does not need a belt. We're just postulating like she's already there, but it could, if it comes out and it's not her, it's gonna be a big disappointment. But
she's gonna be wrestling in San Jose, so she's wrestling in the States next month.
Yeah.
Even though it's for New Japan. That's a U.S. attraction.
And where is the AEW show next week?
That's a good question. I don't actually even know where it is.
We should Google that. So
they're in Seattle this week, right?
Is that Seattle this week?
Yeah. LA.
Big market.
Yeah, they're
big market. That's where to do it. And she's a movie star. She's about to be a movie star.
Yeah. Oh, yep, LA. Because they're in Seattle tonight. Rampage is Portland. And that's a Battle of the Belts. That's this Friday. And then LA. You think she's crossing over into movies too? Like, she's already in shows. Like, I feel like her moment in The Mandalorian was that moment of The Rock and The Mummy that you realize that this person's about to cross over.
Well, I think so. And I think that I bet her role this season in Mandalorian is going to be expanded. I bet it'll be bigger. And I think that she... I mean, I always feel this way about pro wrestlers getting into films, and it's generally true. When she's pulled into an action scene, that's where she's really, really going to put herself over. Because I think that she can do that better than most actresses. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Didn't she give Boba Fett a tornado DDT?
She did. She did. So I think that, I mean, I could see her, landing some sort of like role in like not necessarily that movie, but something like The Expendables where she can go in there and, do some spots.
Yeah. And it works.
Yeah.
We have a short dropping Fridays that has some They Live callbacks in there. And so of course I rewatched Roddy Piper fighting in the alley. And you forgot how many wrestling spots he threw in there. I mean, he threw in a T-bone Tazplex he threw in there. He had a belly to back that he threw in there. He had the double axe handle, and it all held up really well. So
why wouldn't Keith David put the glasses on? There's like a lot going on in that scene. You think it's just a really long fight, but there's a deeper meaning in that scene.
There is.
It's all about how the what you call it, the underrepresented, the marginalized groups always battle each other. You know what I mean?
By
trying to show each other the truth.
Yeah.
They end up fighting each other, and it goes on and on and on.
There's something to that. There's something to the glasses that look like the stereotypical glasses that a blind person would wear.
Yep.
And him not wanting to get involved is literally, like you said, the people that have vested interest don't want to get involved.
Yeah.
They don't want to see. They want to stay blind.
Yeah.
But he won't put on the blind man glasses. So you're right. There was a lot going on.
There's a lot going on there. You can find some really good essays about They Live. It's a great movie. That's one sidebar. How would you like to have? How would you like to be at that lunch meeting with Roddy Piper and John Carpenter
Oh, yeah.
discussing They Live? How about that?
I love hearing the stories now. You know, back then the stories didn't come out. I guess, well, there was nowhere to come out because of the internet. But Roddy Piper having his book of like high spots in his promos that he wanted to use on TV, and that's when him and John Carpenter were going through that.
Well, yeah, because that was his line, the chew bubblegum and kick ass line.
Yeah, that came from his.
Yeah. But
Very Jerry Lawler, like, who also had a book of one-liners, and to this day he still drops them out.
you know, I'm not the biggest fan of remakes and reboots and all that stuff, but I would, you know, I'd love to see someone take another crack at They Live.
Really?
I think I would like to see that because all the themes in that movie are still, you know, accurate.
More accurate.
Than before. I would like to see that entire film reinvented for the new generation, for the TikTok generation.
Dude, and you don't even have to make it. It's a pretty easy requel because we talk about metaphysical stuff on here sometimes, and we've talked about lucid dreaming when you're all of a sudden you're in a dream and you're aware in a dream, but you actually have to be careful to all of a sudden in the dream you forget you're dreaming.
Yeah.
And then you're back in the dream narrative. And They Live, he started to wake people up. How hard would it be to rebuild that machine and start convincing people what they saw was a figment of their imagination, fake news, that wasn't real, put everybody back to sleep?
Yeah.
And there you go.
I think so. I think there's something to that. And now you can, you know, back then everything was the signal that was keeping people asleep was driven through the TV airwaves. Now we've got phones, we've got Wi-Fi, we've got everything else where we could put people to sleep.
Yeah. Much easier.
Yeah.
So I think it is a pretty natural man, who would you fantasy book for that? Because obviously you can get John Carpenter to produce it.
Exec produce.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna fantasy book They Live. Are we first of all, would we do a sequel boot? Are we talking direct sequel?
I think a direct sequel. I think real time. You know, what was that, 1988? I think real time, 2023. Let's just bring it to now. And everybody got put back to sleep. So I think it is the Jurassic Park to Jurassic World time jump.
Fantasy booking They Live requel. Okay.
Yeah.
Geez, I don't know. I think you're gonna need. Would you want to? AEW sign of the night. MJF fears Bigfoot.
Shout out to the Pacific Northwest. I like it.
Would we go with another pro wrestler?
Ooh. I feel like you need to, right? Because that became somewhat of the gimmick, right? Because John Carpenter, the closest he had to a go-to was Kurt Russell, right? And that was the one time he didn't use Kurt Russell. He went with
because Kurt Russell was not available.
Is that why?
So the obvious replacement is Roddy Piper.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anybody in pro wrestling right now. We were talking about this earlier that could actually. Is there any pro wrestlers that can pull off that performance?
Don't know. I mean, I think the first option is Batista.
Yeah.
Batista, if you wanted to go that route.
So you're going with the pro wrestler, but not the look, but the profession. And like someone we were talking about, Batista quoted saying that my whole goal is to take roles so I don't turn out like Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
So he would go into I think he'd go for it for sure. I mean, he went for it in Dune. So I think I can get behind that. There's no chance, right? So Holly had a heel turn. So like there's going to be really no attachment except maybe Keith David's character. You're going to have maybe if you want to have the grandkid attachment.
No, I think you're right. No attachment. And the whole incident with Roddy Piper is sort of like an incident in history, that terrorist attack.
Yeah, and they actually book him as the heel, like he was the terrorist, right?
Yeah, he was the terrorist.
Okay. I like that. I really, Because you really don't have to. I guess the aliens themselves are what is the gel that connects them. So you don't have to have anybody
Right.
that connects to that original film.
Yeah. They put everyone back to sleep.
Man,
Man, I wish I would have thought about this beforehand and made some notes. But I would love to see that. I know someone take another crack at that.
Yeah.
And that movie to this day is extremely entertaining, you know.
Oh.
I throw that on every once in a while.
Yeah, it holds up really well. It holds up really well. Speaking of hold up really well, let's pivot. Let's pivot into the trailer that dropped today that we just watched it. Oh, Roddy Piper deepfake. Dang.
We're not far from that. I
Yeah.
mean, what the new Indiana Jones is probably going to be the first deep fake action movie. And you know, if you think about it, we already had Luke Skywalker deep fake, so we're heading in that direction.
Yeah.
James Earl Jones sold his voice to Disney, so we'll get Darth Vader forever.
Oh, wow.
Mark Hamill sold his face to Disney, so we can get Luke Skywalker forever. So we're not far from that. Now we're going to get young Indy in the new what is it? Dial of Destiny movie.
Yeah, that's true. Did you watch the sequel series to Watchmen on HBO Max?
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah.
I liked, so feeding off JJ's idea, Roddy Piper is the deepfake, right? So everyone's booking him as a heel, but there's a few people that maybe did realize the truth, and they all kind of find a way to like get one of those LED masks, and they wear the Nada mask. You call it the Nada mask, right? That's his name in there, Nada. And it could be very similar to the Rorschach mask, although they booked those Rorschachs as heels in that show.
Yeah.
Right, but they could be the Nada mask could be considered the terrorist, but they're trying to wake people up.
Well, yeah. Now you're making me think. Who was it that did that show? He would be good to do the.
Damon Lindelof.
Yeah, he'd be good for the They Live remake, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean he still gets heat for Lost, but man, if you go back and watch Lost, it holds up so well. And that show was he created a streaming show before streaming existed.
Yeah.
So he would be I would down. I think he'd be good for that. Yeah, that would be a great spot.
All right, so you saw the Evil Dead Rise trailer.
Yes.
And we watched it.
I saw the poster, and then I saw Bruce Campbell drop the tease to the trailer yesterday, which the tease was great. And then we accidentally watched two trailers. Apparently the international trailer is different from the US version. So what are your first thoughts? Because I know you were a huge Evil Dead fan. I think you still have your Halloween costume, part of it over there. The chainsaw, right?
Yeah, huge
Chainsaw
Evil
hat.
Dead fan. It looked appropriately creepy. Like, here's the thing: Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead, its freaking tagline was the ultimate experience in grueling terror.
Yeah.
You watch it now. Like you even mentioned it, the low budgetness sticks out, right? And I think that looking back at that movie, when you're looking back from the present, it's always going to have that low budget feel, which makes it feel less terrifying. But this one, leaning into the horror with, full budget and you're not shooting on 16 millimeter cameras here. It could be. I think this could put people in the hospital.
That's what yes.
I think the trailer is going to put people in the hospital.
I think so. Yeah.
Seeing that on the big screen is going to send people screaming out of the theater.
Did you see the poster, Mommy Loves You to Death?
I did.
And it just reminds me of, this is the generations that's used to the Conjuring universe, which has which are the modern day terrifying visuals. And then you get the OG Sam Raimi throwing his hat in that ring, and it looks terrifying.
And I think, like I said this before, Sam Raimi's a brilliant director, but he's a really strong producer.
Yeah.
He finds great talent, great stories, and develops stuff. I mean, yeah, this is going to be something special. And I think that, again, now we're living in the age of the mega slasher.
Mega slasher, yes.
This is the mega slasher age, and like Evil Dead did something. Evil Dead did something different. There was this whole sort of like, just overarching theme of like self mutilation.
Yes.
And that's coming through in the trailer, and that freaks people out. You know, what were your thoughts on the 2013 remake?
I didn't get the same vibes. I enjoyed it. You know, I think they leaned a little bit more into the blood, which was the original, right? They didn't break like a world record for the amount of blood.
Yeah.
But to me, there was still something missing. It was still a good film, but this was one of those films like you said this about RoboCop. If you would have called the remake Drone Man something different, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
I think this could have, just with a few tweaks, that would have been like a different film. Still a good film.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it necessarily needed to be part of the... I don't know if you remake a masterpiece. Like, you can do a requel to it, but do you remake a masterpiece?
And that's the issue, isn't it? And they sort of did the same. And the thing is, filmmakers aren't going to make that mistake anymore.
No.
They know well enough that requels is the way to go.
Yeah.
You've got to take the concept out of where it originally happened. And like that remake was in the woods, so it was just sort of treading familiar water. Now, again, had they called that movie Within the Woods,
right,
it might have been something. They should have called it Within the Woods, but they wanted to get...
That's a great title.
Well, I mean, that was the name of the original Evil Dead short.
Oh, really? Within the Woods?
Within the Woods. They made the Evil Dead short
that's a better book.
On Super 8 to show and raise money and to show to dentists so they could pitch them on investing.
Oh, that's right. They got that sweet dentist money.
Yeah, man. Dentists got a lot of extra money to throw around and they're bored. But Within the Woods, and then you got a classic. But this looks like Evil Dead 4. Or Evil Dead 3. This looks like Evil Dead 3.
Yeah.
Because you had Ash versus Evil Dead. But to me, that wasn't Evil Dead. That was Army of Darkness 2.
Oh, this is going to be good. Yeah,
this is going to make a great YouTube short.
Yeah, I was just saying that. I can see the trees.
So you have Evil Dead 1, which is like its own thing. And then you have Evil Dead 2, which sort of took it in the comedy direction. And you have Army of Darkness, which leaned into the comedy. Right?
Yep.
And they couldn't call it Evil Dead because they didn't have the rights. Universal couldn't get the rights to Evil Dead for some reason.
Well, that's right, because it was going to be Medieval Dead, right?
Right. So then, Ash versus Evil Dead was actually Army of Darkness 2.
Yep.
Which was actually Evil Dead 2 Part 2. But now we've got Evil Dead Rise, which is actually Evil Dead 2.
Yes. I love it. And it's a great title. We're going to the city. You think high rise, automatically, everything, the stakes are up.
Yeah.
You got the Jason Takes Manhattan, because we are no longer within the woods. We are now going to be in a skyscraper.
Yeah.
Which is going to add a whole different element of terror and budget.
Right.
Which is going to be bringing it to a whole nother level.
Right. And it raises the stakes from the original, because you've got in Evil Dead 1, one of the reasons that's so terrifying and grueling and hard to take, because it's the person who's the first person to turn, and you got to lock in the cellar, is your sister.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this movie now is taking that and raising the stakes more. Now it's your mother.
Oh my God, you're right.
So it's smart. What they're doing is really smart.
Oh yeah, because the film stars Alyssa Sutherland. I don't know if there's any relation in Lily Sullivan.
Is that the new one you're talking about? Evil Dead Rise?
The film follows two sisters trying to survive and save their family from demonic creatures known as the Deadites. The development was preceded by scrap plans for sequels for The Evil Dead in 2013 and Army of Darkness 1992 that would have led to a crossover.
Yeah.
Wow, you're right. Oh, I'm glad this didn't happen. Originally intended for a digital release on HBO Max.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign, because usually it happens the other way around. You have a theatrical release and let's just release it in digital. That's almost like we're not sure how it's going to do. they did the opposite. No, that can't go to HBO Max. This has to go right to theaters.
Well, the execs over there at what is it? Warner Brothers. This is a Warner Brothers movie.
Yeah, yep. Warner Brothers.
Well, again, they just had. Didn't they do Smile? Who did Smile? They had just had horror is big right now. Horror is huge. So they realized that, hey, we can make a little money with this.
And smart. Well, yeah, we talked about it on our year in review show how well horror was going to do, and we're starting off with a bang. We got tickets to M3gan tomorrow, which you said is already getting rave reviews.
Early notices are very positive,
man.
And there's this one film critic who hates everything that I watch. And she hates anything horror, anything graphic. She can't stand because she loved M3gan.
Really? I'm excited.
Apparently, this isn't a spoiler, but apparently they said it's extremely funny.
Well, it has that scene that's in the trailer that when M3gan, who is the doll, is sitting amongst the stuffed animals, and you instantly got the E.T. vibes, right? That's the vibes I got.
E.T. meets Child's Play meets the Terminator.
Yeah. That's a stretch. And Anthony brings up a good point. It's only PG-13. Apparently, there's an R-rated cut that they're going to be releasing later that's even more bloody and violent.
Well, apparently, yes, it was intended to be. It's a low-budget movie, so it was intended to be R-rated.
Yeah.
But they realized that they had something really great on their hands, and they was like, let's actually tone this down.
Yeah.
So we can actually cast a wider net with this and be like, let's get some more folks in the theater.
And I don't have the heat with PG-13 versus R. I think it'd be okay because we now live in the generation where we'll get that theatrical cut, and you were damn right. I'm going to buy M3gan the unrated cut or the the hard R cut. You're going to get both.
Sure, I'll see it twice.
Yeah, I have no issue.
Release them both in theater.
Oh man,
I mean, there you go, double dip. Release the original M3gan, then release the R cut a few months later.
Oh man, they never. Only a few people did that gimmick, and to this day, I still don't understand why they didn't do it. And remember, Clue did it. Clue said, "We can't promise you what ending we're going to give you. We're going to give you 3 different endings, and depending on what theater you go to, you're going to get a different ending."
Excellent gimmick. I don't think that was the right. Audiences weren't ready for that.
No.
If you did something like that now, it'd probably work. But imagine if you did Knives Out with multiple endings.
With different. Oh man, yeah, you totally go back and.
Wait a minute, did we already discuss this? Is Rian Johnson going to do the Clue movie? That should happen. Anyway,
we got tagged in a Rian Johnson because there's right now on Twitter, Rian Johnson getting his what's the main character's name? Daniel Craig's
Benoit
Blanc to do the Muppets, and then it just hit me, and we tagged him. Oh. Yeah, Rian Johnson's got to do the Great Muppet Caper too.
Yeah.
I was like, there it is. But apparently there's people already photoshopping, so yeah. But if he redid Clue, another great whodunit, Murder by Death, which was so good, having all the Benoit Blanc type detectives in the same house. This is the gimmick they did with Murder by Death. Oh man, that would be so good. But going back to the endings, I'd go to different theaters and try to catch that different ending. Freddy versus Jason was supposed to do that, right? They were supposed to be, there's a cut where Freddy wins, there's a cut where Jason wins, and then there was going to be a surprise cut where you didn't know who won.
Where Ash comes out and wins.
Yeah, that's what they didn't run with that.
Yeah.
With all the different endings, they shoot different endings now just to confuse leakers and scoopers.
Well, yeah, because it's so cheap now. They shoot everything on videotape, so it's like we can shoot 1,000 endings. It doesn't really matter.
Why don't you just do that and then release it like you don't know which one you're going to get?
Yeah.
And because then, of course, when Clue came out on VHS, you got all 3 endings, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, this is how it could have ended, but it also could have ended like that.
I didn't mind that. That was the only ending I ever saw. I didn't go. Did you go to the theater and watch Clue?
I did. Yep.
Yeah, I never made it to the theater to watch Clue. I liked the triple ending that we got. That was cool.
Yeah, I had no heat with that.
I think that works for a board game movie.
Yeah, that is actually really good for a board. They did really well. But that was magical casting, which I think we kind of got that with Glass Onion. I mean, good recommendation. What a great flick on Netflix. I got that same feeling that I did from Clue. Like, wow, this was really good booking.
Yeah.
Everybody feels like they had a gimmick. Like we were talking about Anthony earlier with the ladies. Like everybody feels like they have their own world, their own gimmick, and it felt special. And that made the murder mean something a little bit more, because if everybody's elevated, now you don't know who's going to go over.
Yeah.
So that worked really well.
Anyways, went off the track here. Evil Dead Rise is probably going to put people in the hospital. If Terrifier 2 did it, this one's going to do it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm ready for... That's April.
Yeah.
We have a lot of movies coming out this year.
Dude, that's another spot if you want to do that. But like,
let's just...
Let me send you this one. Let me see if I can find this one. Someone like made a little calendar with all the images. And there's just an obscene amount of movies coming out next year. Because now we're getting... Because you know how they're saying right now... a lot of the retailers are about to be overstocked with product because they all overbought during the C word, and now they're all overstocked with product, and they're going to start putting stuff on sale. So save your money, kids. There's going to be big sales on all your favorite products. But like, let me try and find this image real quick. But yeah, we're overloaded with movies.
Is Gremlins 3 in 2023?
I believe so. Rise of the Mogwais or something.
What? All right, I gotta find some. So I do have some. I have a semblance of a list here of the most anticipated films in 2023.
Hold on, I've got an image. Let me pull this up.
One?
This is a great image right here. Let me just.
It's not as good as that Sean Connery in 2023 image, but shout out to that.
There we go. Ooh, the magic of media. Boom. Here we go. Let's see.
Wow.
Check this out. Kicking off this week with M3gan. Can you see this?
Yeah, I can see that.
So here we go. It's kicking off this week with M3gan.
Yeah.
Which is probably going to be big. Like there's nothing out right now but Avatar.
Yeah.
So now it's going to counter program Avatar. There's nothing else until February 17th where we get Quantumania. This is a big gap.
Yeah.
For M3gan to have some legs.
Yeah, she's going to do, and I think January is a good time for a surprise drop like that to do really well.
And then
Quantumania is the kickoff to Phase 5 too, so that's going to have some legs.
Quantumania is going to be huge, and apparently the trailer really, really got over, and folks are going to really looking forward to that movie.
I feel like now that there's going to be some bite. There was a lot of tease, a lot of setup, and now we know that Kang is going to be the next Thanos, or we presume it. Yeah. Right. So we're finally going to get what that looks like.
So then let's see. We've got 1 week later, and I've heard you can't say this on the air, so we're gonna have to code word it. But you've got
Sea Bear,
White Lines Bear,
Sugar Bear,
Sugar Bear,
Sugar Bear
comes out 1 week later, which. If it's good, it's going to be over, but I think that first week will be huge.
Oh, that's going to have that's going to be big money. I don't know what kind of legs it's going to have, but it's going to have...
If it's good, it'll have legs.
Yeah.
Well, this is a big sort of moment for what's Elizabeth Banks as a director.
Yeah, and based on true events?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not totally true.
I was going to say, is it Texas Chainsaw Massacre true events?
Yeah, no, it is that. It is that level of events. Apparently, the bear came upon all the sugar pops and just died, dropped dead. But like in this one, they sort of like he goes on a rampage.
He goes on a rampage.
So anyway, Sugar Bear comes out the 24th. 2 weeks later, or less than 2 weeks later, we get Creed 3.
Yeah, it's... So far, we have a list of everything that you have. For me, these are all opening night movies.
Everything next year is opening night. If you don't have one of those movie memberships, this is the year to get one.
Oh yeah, I gotta commit to the Alamo one.
Time to save your money. Hey, look, the Alamo thing. I got 2 seats, and I don't mind it at all. Whatever. If I don't have anyone go to me, I got that spacer seat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I love a spacer seat.
And I'll give out, for Alamo, I'll buy 2 beers and put one next to me. So yeah, it's going to show up eventually. It's just running late. But Creed 3 looks great. I don't know. Actually, I was not a huge fan of Creed 2, but this one looks a lot better.
This one, at least, this is going to be the first, because Creed was a little bit the first Creed was still kind of in Rocky's shadow, and it was Rocky with cancer. Creed 2 was Rocky 4 Part 2. So this is going to be the first Creed that this is just Creed. This is going to be his movie. We're splintering away from, it's no longer about Rocky. It's going to be about Adonis Creed.
And imagine, if this is a hit, we're going to get Creed 4, 5, and 6. So,
oh, absolutely.
It's just Rocky's the franchise that never ends. Never gives
Airplane 2 predicted that. We're going to talk about what movies got right and wrong in the future. And remember, they had the picture of Rocky like 10, and it was the old guy.
Yeah.
They got
that right. Didn't Spaceballs also make a joke of Rocky 5000?
They did, yes, right.
So after Creed,
big month for Jonathan Majors. He's going to go Kang, and then he's going to be Creed's opponent.
Yep.
So hats off to him on that.
Yep.
What do we got next?
1 week later, we got Scream 6.
Another one that's taking it to the city. They're doing what you talked about. We're going to take you out of the familiar territory of this franchise, and we're going to bring it somewhere different. And that's a great idea.
And I'm getting a sense of what the gimmick is here, because have you seen any of the poster art? I think
the subway map, right?
Subway.
Smart.
So I feel like, it's going to be set primarily on a subway, which
is terrifying.
Which is terrifying. And it eliminates the problem that Jason Takes Manhattan had, whereas it's hard to shoot in New York if you're a low budget film.
Right.
It's hard to recreate New York. But if you're on the subway, you're also enclosed. It's crowded, it's hot, it's dark. What an awful place to get stabbed.
I love that you threw the film. You're being the film director you are, that you thought of that. That never even hit me, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we'll get a couple of establishing shots of the buildings, and then everyone knows we're there, and then we take it to the subway, which is the scariest part of the city. The rats, the darkness, the ominous feel, like the warriors of just like those long, dark tunnels where you don't know
the claustrophobia.
Yeah. So whoever this Ghostface is going to be is going to definitely...
Is that Radio Silence directing it again?
I believe so, yeah.
Did they come back for that?
Yep, I believe so.
Or did they move on to Escape from New York?
Oh, yeah, they are doing that, huh?
I'm not sure. Anyway, Scream 6, there we go. 1 week later, we've got Shazam. What is it called? Shazam? Fury of the Gods?
Fury of the Gods.
Yeah. Which, I don't know, this could be a throwaway movie, but this is definitely... This is a big project. I mean, I don't know. Now with the DC universe being reinvented, rebooted, restarted, is this a throwaway movie? I don't know.
Well, I think in a way that's going to kind of help it, right? Now you're going to get to go and experience what might be the last of a fraction of what the Snyderverse was, and a fraction of what, because it's going to be all new after this.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, but it's still a big property. It's a big movie. It's probably going to have Wonder Woman in it and whoever else.
Yeah, I don't know what cameos they're going to keep and what cameos they're going to cut.
Yeah.
But we'll have more information by then. We should have, before the end of the month, we should have more Superman information. So that's going to really establish what happens next.
So anyway, Shazam comes out. 1 week later, we get John Wick 4.
Oh, wow.
Which, come on.
Is this the last John Wick?
No, I think there's one more.
Oh, wow. Because I feel like they booked it like it's going to be the last one, but
I'm sure they'll announce the last one. That's a thing now. You want to say this is the final John Wick, so get folks in the theater.
They booked this like a super fight.
Yeah, because you've got John Wick versus Donnie Yen now.
Yeah,
John Wick versus Ip Man.
How can you not see that as a super fight? The feeling of John Wick coming up is it feels like a big UFC match or a big boxing match, a big wrestling match.
Yeah.
Like you said, Ip Man versus John Wick.
Yeah.
Masterful booking. And they're booking it like you're getting a big fight.
For sure. Then a week later, you've got Dungeons and Dragons, which looks pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't even know that this was a thing. I did. Did you watch the Saturday morning cartoon, the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon?
No, I just remember that choose your way kind of game.
The game, yeah,
where it would show videos.
I played it on television. Well, so yeah, it could be. We have the short. We're groomed to love wizards.
That's right.
Kids are
We were groomed to love wizards. But anyway, that'll be something. Looks good. Chris Pine is way over. Michelle Rodriguez is always over. So yeah, we'll see. It looks interesting to me. Could be good. Could be good.
Yep.
But it's still, that's a big IP, big movie. Here we go. What, 2 days later we get Evil Dead Rise?
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah.
One is an earlier drop, but two totally different audiences, I'm assuming, right? You're not going to be able to take your kids to see Evil Dead Rise. Well, you can, but...
And then, let's see, 1 week later, Anthony gets to watch the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah. I had the benefit of when Jack was younger to get to go see a lot of animation and get the adult humor that they put in there. And there's part of me that misses that. And but this one feels like you get a pass. Like you can be an adult going in there to watch Mario Brothers because we all grew up playing Mario Brothers.
Yeah, I think the animation looks great. The only thing about that movie is they're really hiding Chris Pratt's voice.
Yeah,
we don't get in none of the trailers. We get very much of his voice.
Yeah, you're right.
I think that was probably bad booking. I mean, he doesn't. You think about his voice; he doesn't sound like Mario.
No, he doesn't sound like him at all. I was actually surprised at that casting.
I think Charlie Day sounds like a good Luigi, but I don't know. But
Charlie Day in Luigi's Mansion. Yeah. That's perfect booking.
He sounds good. Let's see. I have this feeling like they are going to be ADRing that movie till right before it comes out. Chris Pratt's working on his Italian accent or something.
We'll do like we did Christmas Business. Just text me this real quick and I'll throw it in.
Just record your voice to the phone. Anyway, so Super Mario Brothers comes out. Then we get a little bit of a breather.
Yeah.
Get a couple weeks off there.
Before we jump into that, is that a big scoop? Did AEW just swerve us? Soria's partners, Tony Storm?
Ooh, no. That's a bad call, Tony Khan.
Wait, I didn't think the tag match was still next week.
I thought it was this week. I thought that it was this week, but you had told me it was next week.
Yeah, I thought it was next week that she was coming. That is a big swerve. Poor Tony Storm. That's not good. That's not good for her.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just the announcement. Oh, man. Well, yeah, then there's got to be a swerve. Maybe I talked about this, that maybe the Wrestle Kingdom took a little bit of that steam away, and maybe this is TK trying to swerve it back by putting Tony Storm in there.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
We'll see.
Yeah, poor Tony Storm. But anyway, whatever. We'll see.
So for the next film that you're saying, and we always consider that first week in May, that is the kickoff.
That's the kickoff to
season.
summer, yeah.
But I noticed that over the past, pre C word, they were moving it up, and like it ended up being like the last week in April.
Yeah.
Since there's a gap there, can you foresee Guardians of the Galaxy being moved up? They're booking this like not only the last Guardians movie, it's going to be the last time Batista's in there as Drax, and IRL, everybody, in the know is going to realize this is the last James Gunn Marvel movie that there ever will be. For the foreseeable future.
Let's see. I don't know. I don't know why they would put a gap in there. Maybe spring break. I'm not sure, but we've got a breather there. Maybe they're going to let folks catch up on movies at that point.
Monster Cash, though. If they're booking it as the last Guardians, and there's so much real life stuff going on, and then the on-screen stuff, and they're really booking it one last ride. It's being booked as one last ride.
Yeah.
And Baby Rocket. Instead of Baby Groot, we get Baby Rocket.
Baby Rocket.
Baby Rocket is going to be all the rage for Christmas 2023.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, Guardians is May 5th. May 5th?
Yep.
There you go.
Mayo.
So that'll be huge. So then 2 weeks later, we're getting Fast X, which we have not seen a single frame of.
No, nothing. And the rumor was that was good, and they were breaking that into 2 parts, right? But we haven't seen anything about that at all. The only thing we heard and saw was The Rock says, "Good luck with it. I'm not a part of it." That's all we know about Fast X. That there seems like there's real turmoil behind it.
Well, they got some new talent in there. We're getting the guy who plays Jack Reacher is in it.
Oh, good
We're
booking.
getting Brie Larson.
Okay.
So we're getting some new blood. We'll see. I don't know. I enjoyed Fast 9, but not the way they wanted me to enjoy it. You know?
Yeah.
It had the feeling of just being driven a little too much by Vin's creative.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it because it was different. I think it kind of broke loose of the previous films. So in that regard, I thought it was pretty good. It was a little dramatic, but we'll see. Well,
that's a good point. I think you're taking too much of Vin's notes and not being a tight editor.
Yeah.
I feel like they're starting to blend together, which happened with some of the earlier ones when they just start to blend together.
Yeah. Well, it was a lot of it was a big pill to swallow because it was like, as this, because you go back to the first Fast and Furious and the movie is about street gang who steals VCRs. They steal VCRs. That's basically the whole premise of the movie.
Almost had you.
Yeah. They steal VCRs, and then undercover cop wants to bust the VCR theft ring. And then, we get to part 5, and they're super spies. Now they're secret agents. And then by Fast 9, just the whole melodrama of how how two brothers,
Yeah.
sons of a car mechanic, grew up to be super spies. There's a lot, the whole thing when he was like having flashbacks as he's like drowning and stuff. It was dramatic, but I enjoyed the movie. And of course they sent him to space. Sure. It all kind of worked in the end.
Yeah. And they're winking, and because that was the prediction. What are you going to do? Send him to space? And then they did send him.
Here's
to
the
space.
thing. Don't wink at me anymore.
Just do it.
Yeah. I get the joke. It's just like, you don't need to tell me you're joking. You know what I mean? You don't need to explain a joke.
Do you get concerned when a movie feels like a movie in a fake universe like 30 Rock?
What's
like
that?
when you'd have like Tracy Jordan. I was like, I'm going to be in the new Fast X movie. They're going to send me to space. Mm-hmm. And you have the poster for it, and you're like, oh, this is not a real movie.
Yeah.
It's like, this is in the fake movie universe. But this is the real movie universe we live in, that we went from Point Break in cars. Was that first, the Fast and the Furious? Do you remember? That was 2000 or 2001.
Something like that.
There was like Oscar talk. Like
For who?
I don't remember just for the film, like a Best Picture.
No way. I don't remember that.
Because you got Vin Diesel coming off of, was that before or after Boiler Room, when he was being like the real, like a serious actor. And now fast forward to Fast X, and he is ironically a version of what you were talking about earlier with The Rock. The Rock is in this, The Rock is in that. But Vin Diesel only has one film that he goes and does it to.
I hope Fast X is about Vin's crew trying to stop a ring of 4K Blu-ray thieves.
Why not bring it back to the roots?
Yeah, why not? Take us back to street racing.
Street level. We do like Avengers doing with Spider-Man. It's like, okay, we send him to space. Now we got to make him a street level hero again.
What are you going to do after you send folks to space? I heard that apparently Fast X, my sources in Hollywood have been texting me that the budget has ballooned out of control and it might be the most expensive movie ever.
Whoa. James Cameron says, hold my hard kombucha. It wouldn't surprise me, because if they're giving him whatever he wants and it's making its money back, right? It's still profitable.
Yeah.
So I guess they're gonna. I'll go see it. I mean, I'm gonna line up and go see it. But is it gonna be a movie that sticks with you? I think if you brought it back to the streets, I think it would stick with me. But I don't know, because then you have the universe is splintering off, right? They're gonna have a bunch of the same way The Walking Dead ended, and now you have 3 different shows that are splintering. You got Hobbs and Shaw, and I heard there's gonna be the female Fast and the Furious crew. So you're gonna have these spin-offs. You're just ending the Fast proper universe.
Well, I feel like we got that in the last movie, because we got we had the women split off into their own storyline in the last one.
Yeah.
And they were having their whole adventure.
Oh, you're right.
I don't know if that was a test run for that, but I mean, if this movie doesn't make $1 billion, they're not going to make any more spinoffs.
Yeah.
They're going to call it and then just sell Blu-rays.
It's going to not steal them, sell them.
Yeah. I mean, you think about the last, remember we did what's one of our early videos? It had the Tarzan swing.
Yeah, that's right. One of our first shorts.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see what happens.
We'll
but
see
yeah,
what's next
we'll
with
be there.
Fast
We'll
X.
be there that week. Fast X. 1 week later, we get the Little Mermaid.
Which had a ton of controversy.
Ton of controversy for just really dumb reasons, but folks are going to go line up for that. We'll see.
I think maybe JJ can start a writing campaign and want the Little Mermaid to be blue, because we've been taught that all underwater people, whether it's merman, mermaids, or aliens, are blue. So maybe she needs to be blue.
Maybe.
Yeah, JJ, I don't know what you think.
Underwater folks is like the new thirst trap. You got Namor, you got Jake Sully.
Namor.
Yeah.
Jake Sully.
Yeah. Anyway, Little Mermaid, that'll be big. I mean, well, I don't know. I guess the Disney live action remakes don't have a good track record, but it's the Little Mermaid, so we'll see.
I think it'll get its kids money. Although there's always that one weekend in May that I feel like is the jinxed weekend that nobody wants to talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, shout out to Geek Facts. That's who made this poster here that we keep coming back and forth through. Geek Facts, at Geek Facts. Find them on Instagram.
Oh, nice job. Yeah,
anyway, week later, we've got Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse.
That's the Sony. That's the superhero movies that Sony gets right. They're animated ones.
Yeah, so let's see if they can pull it off. Lord and Miller are not doing this one, I don't think.
Oh, they're not?
I don't think so.
They're really leaning into the multiverse too, harder than the live action MCU is.
Now,
so
this could be a good thing or a bad thing. They could lean too hard into the Spider-Verse. Who knows?
Yeah.
Could be too much, but we'll see. Rumors is we're going to get Tom Holland in this one. Possibly Tobey Maguire in this one. So
they might as well.
Yeah.
If that's what they're going to do, they need to do it, because it's Morbin Time shows that we're not sure do not have a good track record with live action when it's not related to Sam Raimi or MCU.
Yeah. But either way, it's people are going to be curious, and if it's good, it'll be over. Last one won an Oscar, for Christ's sake. What else? Okay, week later, we've got the new Transformers, Rise of the Beasts.
Rise of the Beast.
Which is, I guess, what is that, Beast Wars?
Beast
they already
Wars, yeah.
did the Dinobots, right?
I thought they did.
They did Dinobots. So this is, whatever, it's more Transformers. Those movies make money.
Yeah.
I kind of checked out after part 2.
I did too. Yeah, I don't go to the theaters to watch them anymore.
I can't follow what's going on. There's too much transforming.
When the Autobots and the Decepticons are fighting, it's literally like one of those cartoon fights where you just see smoke and limbs and you can't tell who's getting
You can't
hit.
identify. I mean, when you watch the cartoon, you could clearly identify Starscream and,
Yeah.
whatever, the one that turned into a tape deck.
Yeah. Oh, I had that tape deck.
Yeah, the tape deck was cool.
Oh, yeah.
The tape deck, well, I guess we won't get the tape deck in this one. But Beast Wars, I never watched that cartoon. I don't even know. So,
Yeah.
so who knows? Whatever. Folks might go see. People like to see robots transform into animals. Sounds like a good deal for some folks. Anyway, that'll be something. 1 week later, we've got The Flash. Let's see if Ezra Miller can stay out of jail till then.
No way. I think he's already been in jail twice since this show started.
If he can just stay out of jail till then, that movie might make some money.
Well, this is going to be the looky-loos effect, because we were talking about it a little bit with Shazam, Fury of the Gods. People are going to go to see what is going to happen, because there's been so many cuts, recuts, reshoots. Now James Gunn, that's far enough along where James Gunn and his partner are going to be able to insert what they want to do. So that's going to be their attempt to do that. So you're going to get a lot of curiosity on this movie, and I think it's going to do really well because of that. You're going to get the people that want to see The Flash, You would have got a lot of people that wanted to see Michael Keaton as Batman again. Now you're going to just want to see what the hell are they going to do with this movie?
Yeah. Or are you going to get a lot of kids who say, Mom, can I go watch The Flash? It's like, no, that guy's a degenerate.
Oh,
We're not taking you to The Flash. Me personally, I can't wait to see Batman 89 make his return.
yeah.
But who knows? Apparently, the story is the movie's great, and that's why they're still putting it out. After your lead actor starts a cult and kidnaps a couple people, and you're still putting the movie out, you obviously believe in it.
Yeah, no kidding. Because that was, especially after just canceling a bunch of properties and getting rid of a very popular Superman, and you're keeping this movie. So I think, yeah, the curiosity is going to bring people in.
So something's going on there. So we'll find out. What day is that? We'll find out June 16th.
Yep. That's a DC month. June is DC, right? June and July.
June. We've got DC kind of spread out throughout.
Yep.
So anyway, June 16th, The Flash. A week later, we get the new Pixar.
Elemental.
Not sure what that's about, but it's Pixar.
That's inside your body stuff.
Huh?
No, it's the element stuff. So, like, I think fire falls in love with ice.
Okay. Well, I mean, Pixar's good at that kind of stuff.
I still sing the volcano song, so I can't.
What's the volcano song?
A long, long time ago, there was a volcano.
I don't know that one.
It was a short before either Up. I think it was a short before Up or Wall-E, but yeah.
Yeah.
I still watch it. It's on my Island mix on Spotify.
For me, Pixar peaked with the Knick Knack short.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, their shorts were good.
Yeah.
I think when they started, remember in the beginning, they were shying away from sequels. And then they're like, okay, we'll do a sequel to Toy Story. And then the Toy Story sequels were so good that they started making sequels for the other ones.
Did you ever hear that story about somebody deleted Toy Story 2 by accident?
No.
Somebody accidentally deleted the entire movie.
What?
Yeah, and the only reason that movie was saved is because somebody took a copy home and was working on it at home.
Oh, I never heard of that.
Yeah, I'm sure you can look it up. Someone accidentally deleted the entire movie.
Man, can you imagine
Computers, man. That was the late 90s. Stuff was still on floppies.
Yeah, there was no backups yet.
Yeah.
It's got to be entanglement. It's got to be in two places.
Toy Story, the entire movie was on 6 floppy disks.
Right next to that Windows 95 box. Oh, we're not using that.
Yeah.
Is that really that many discs?
Yeah. Anyway, Elemental, Pixar, It'll do something.
All right.
1 week later, Indiana Jones is back.
The Dial of Destiny.
And the Dial of Destiny.
Also, Indiana Jones gets the 4th of July weekend, which is traditionally a big weekend.
Yeah.
I don't think Indiana Jones has always been May, right?
I don't even know.
Yeah, he's been a May release, so that's bold to give him July. I think it's smart.
So Indiana Jones gets another shot at wrapping up the series after Crystal Skull completely botched it.
Yeah. Are you nervous about the time travel aspect?
No, I'm not nervous about that. I think that it's fine. It's doable. Sure. We could do something. We could do something with that. Why not? I kind of prefer my Indiana Jones to be searching for religious artifacts. That's the Indiana Jones I prefer.
Right.
Aliens was a stretch.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Yeah. That movie's hot garbage. We've discussed this.
Even though thinking now, man, think about since before that movie or after that movie, how over Ancient Aliens got, which is basically ancient alien artifacts. How over that is now, right? It's a meme.
Yeah.
That show is so over, but it didn't translate into Indiana Jones. But if you watch Ancient Aliens, that is somewhat of the Indiana Jones, what they were trying to accomplish.
Yeah. I don't know. What's up, Podcat? I think, yeah, religious artifacts. There could have been something.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Whatever the Dial of Destiny is, I'm gonna go check it out.
But there's documentation out there of the Nazis literally toying with time travel. I mean, this is based
that's cool.
in real events.
Yeah, okay. I'll take Nazis experimenting with time travel.
Yeah.
I'll take that for the win. Sure. Nazis doing something supernatural, maybe. I like that.
They were big into the occult too.
Yeah.
So
that I can get behind. There is one moment in the trailer where he says he doesn't believe in something. He doesn't believe in the supernatural.
Yeah.
Well, even though he's seen it in like 5 movies.
Yeah, I didn't like that line.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I did
That
not
was
like
kind of
that
strange.
line. He literally took the leap of faith to see magic.
Yeah, and I think we've got what a weird Pico to dial him from her. We've got what's her name? The girl from Fleabag.
Oh yeah.
Is in it, and they're not letting her speak in the trailer.
No.
So that's problematic to me. What are we hiding here?
And then there's a series, but we don't know if that's going to be with her. So we don't know if this is a torch passing.
Yeah.
They did make an announcement for this that we are going to find out the whereabouts of Mutt, Shia LaBeouf. So they are going to acknowledge that.
I hope they just use that green screen footage that he put out as fair use, where he's just like, "Do it," and they just cut that into the movie. They're gonna, wherever he is, they're gonna bury him because he cut a promo on Spielberg, and you do not do that.
No, you do not.
You do not cut a promo on Spielberg. You shake his hand and say, "Thank you for the opportunity, sir."
That's right. Oh man.
All right. So anyway, Dial of Destiny. Next. I'll be there opening day. Whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll see how it goes. 2 weeks late. No, wait. Yeah. No, let's see. Yeah.
July
2 weeks
14th.
later.
Yep.
2 weeks later, we get Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Why did they choose to split this one in half? Have you read anything? I don't know why they did that.
Because
just Tom Cruise.
Dude. Because here's the thing, and it's like it's this theory, this Hollywood theory that producers have. One movie makes half as much money as 2 movies, theoretically. So if you want to make twice as much money, you make 2 movies.
Man.
And that I feel like that's the driving factor. This is probably the last Mission Impossible because I don't know, Tom Cruise can't do, I mean, how many, what's he going to do now?
You're right.
I think they shot him into space for this movie.
Oh, really?
Like Fast and the Furious went into space on a green screen. He actually went into space.
That doesn't surprise me, right? That is in his contract. He does all the stunts, including getting sent to space.
I finally saw the end of Top Gun Maverick. And yeah, it's pretty good. pretty good movie. I still don't think it's as great as everyone seems to think it is, but the end was solid. Solid performance. How do you feel about Tom Cruise and all these wild stunts he's doing on social media?
Oh, I don't know. I think he's leaning into his kind of a wild man gimmick, and he's starting to remind me of the U.S. version of Jackie Chan, where now you expect him to do all this stuff.
I suppose. It surprised me that for Top Gun Maverick, I didn't realize this. All the actors were being flown by professional pilots, except Tom Cruise, who was actually flying the F-16.
He did.
Yes. Oh my God. He did his own flying. I don't know, man. Like, I like Tom Cruise. I think he's great. He's a great movie star, one of the last great movie stars. But when I see these videos of him just casually hanging off of a biplane or skydiving, and he looks like he feels nothing, I don't know if that's because he's so dead inside that he's beyond even fear of death.
Or he hacked the Matrix, and that's why he's able to do all this stuff.
Maybe.
But now he lost touch with his humanity while doing it.
He has absolutely no fear.
No, he doesn't.
So I don't know. Like when he did that stunt with, where he was hanging off the plane,
When he was tied on the plane.
When he was hanging off the plane in one of the Mission Impossibles.
Man. I just want to feel something.
he could have easily died. Like had there been a pebble on the wing of a plane that fell off the wing of the plane.
Oh, it come at him like a bullet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He would have easily died. Anyway, so yeah, Mission Impossible. What is this? 8? I'm not sure.
I had lost count.
Anyway, we'll see it. So that's July 14th. 1 week later, we get the movie event of the year, in my opinion.
Barbie, yeah, you really popped for this trailer.
Got to see what in the world this Barbie movie is going to be. What is Barbie going to be? I don't know. The trailer was fantastic.
You put the trailer over enough that I knew I was going to the theater to see Avatar. So I was like, you know what? I'll just wait to watch it on the big screen. I haven't seen a trailer first on the big screen.
Oh, so you had no idea what it was going to be?
I didn't know that they were going to go into that 2001 until I was sitting on the seen in the big screen. And I was like, it felt super theatrical, I guess, maybe watching it on the giant screen.
Yeah.
So I don't know what this movie's going to be about, because remember the Flintstones movie, the John Goodman stuff, where it's just, you would think that would have been the direction they could easily go into, but they're going to have to do something different.
Again, this is like post Lego movie, world. They figured out how to make movies about toys now.
Yeah,
they get it.
That's
so
true.
They're going to do something with that. And you've got Greta Gerwig directing, who I love. I wish there's a shirt out there that you can get. Well, I guess they got multiple versions, but you can get a shirt that says like written and directed by Greta Gerwig. I would love to get that shirt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's great, man. I'm a huge fan of her work.
What else has she done?
Well, I mean, she started directing recently. She did like Lady Bird. She did the Little Women remake.
That was it.
But before that, she was just like an indie darling. Even here in Austin, she was doing films. She was in House of the Dead. She was a big part of the whole mumblecore movement, which kind of started in Austin as well.
Oh, and her partner is Noah Baumbach.
He wrote it. He wrote Barbie. So now you've got the power couple of.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a big power couple right there.
So I feel like there's gonna be something great there. Barbie is such a ridiculous concept for a movie. I mean, Legos, it's like you build stuff, right? And there's all kinds of things going on. Barbie is like a doll that is barely articulated.
Yeah. And Barbie as a doll has gotten a lot of heat over the years, right? For the unreal depiction and the unfair view that it's giving to young girls of what you should look like as you grow up. She was getting a lot of heat, so I'm curious the direction they go to do this.
And you've got
Will Ferrell's in this.
Will Ferrell's in it. What's it?
Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling is Ken.
Yeah, that's masterful booking.
So anyway, that's going to be something special, in my opinion.
All right, yeah, I'm in.
Same weekend. This is the biggest weekend of the year. You get the return of Christopher Nolan. Andy, you don't like Ryan Gosling as Ken? Come on. You get the same weekend as Barbie. You get
Oppenheimer. Wow.
Which
talk about counter programming.
Yeah. That's the matchup of the century. That's WrestleMania.
That is. And is the rumor true that, which I still to this I didn't get fully into the story, and I wanted to talk to you about it. It's like he did not want to CGI the atomic blast. And I'm like, did you really blow something up atomic?
Yeah.
And film it? Did he really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. He detonated. Detonated a nuclear explosive.
What?
Apparently, yeah. And he shot it in IMAX.
How's
on
that?
film.
Like that. What?
Maybe that's taking it too far.
That might be. I would have been fine with CGI.
Yeah.
In that case.
Anyway.
Yeah, that movie. I don't know. I'm a little nervous about that movie in the sense of just, is it supposed to be a horror movie? Because it's going to feel like a horror movie. Because you're going to see the horrors of what was created.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest mark for Nolan. I think Dark Knight is a classic. But for me, the majority of his filmography is so-so. I think Memento is a classic.
Yep.
I would love to see him get stripped back and make like a $1 million movie again like Memento.
I'd like that. I loved Inception. I loved Interstellar. I'm still unsure about Tenet. I need to watch it again.
Backwards.
Yeah. I need to watch it.
You have to watch it backwards and forwards at the same time, like Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, there's something, that's a good way to put it, because I don't know, I feel like I was ready for it, and I had no idea what I was getting into, and I had no idea what I was getting into when I left.
Yeah.
Like, what did I just watch?
Yeah. It also came out at one of the weirdest times in the history of mankind. So
Yeah, there was that. That did not help. But
I remember my Tenet experience, and that was one of the first. I mean, it's the first movie I'd been in the theater for in a long time, and there were sterilized popcorn and everything that was coming out. Anyway,
that was
it was
a
just
time.
a weird time. They should have probably just held on to that one for a while.
Yeah.
Because it worked for Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
But
Because
anyway.
they held on to Top Gun for a while.
So who will win, Oppenheimer or Barbie?
I think they both win. I feel like that's counter programming enough.
We'll see.
Well, I think Barbie's going to be the number one movie just because you're going to get less people, but you're going to get that IMAX money too, though, which is that upcharge too. So, man, I don't know.
You get the upcharge, but there's less screens.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Anyway, a week later, after Barbie Oppenheimer match of the century, we get the Marvels. Marvel Studios. Is this
Marvels.
their third film of the year?
Yep.
We'll see. Looks like they dialed down Brie Larson, so I think folks probably gonna be happy about that. I don't know. We'll see. But it's Marvel. Can't bet against them. You never know.
No, I don't. Yeah. I think it's probably going to do on par with what her first film did, right?
Well, that made $1 billion.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I mean, we're in a different time. Black Panther 2 did not make $1 billion. Thor did not make $1 billion.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange did not make $1 billion. So we'll see.
What Quantumania sets up and how this is going to look for the future of the film, this can't be another type of origin story. They're going to have to give her something strong. Because remember, the first one was nestled in between the movies that it didn't really add anything to the whole events. Like, that could have been what their series was. So I hope it has something. It helps push the whole thing forward because they're going to need it. But
I may wait for Disney Plus on that one.
I think a lot of people are going to feel that,
Yeah.
right? Because you're just like, okay, but you got the girl from WandaVision, you got Miss Marvel in there as well as, and then you got Captain Marvel. So,
Title change. Wait, what happened, JJ? Fill us in.
oh, I thought the title changes in Captain Marvel 2 to Miss Marvel's. Yeah, spoilers. Spoilers are okay.
It's okay. I
Yeah.
got my Sling is recording it for me. I'm gonna hop on after
Yeah,
the show.
spoilers are okay.
But it's okay. Wrestling spoilers are not spoilers.
Yeah,
Wrestling never ends.
it is the novella with no end.
Yeah. Novellas never have an ending. They don't have seasons. Same
don't.
thing.
Yep.
Anyway, okay, so the Marvels is gonna happen. Whatever. Darby beats Samoa Joe. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
Is that his third run with the title or second? Second. Darby's second run.
Not sure.
Sammy had 2 runs.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see.
I'm into that. Okay, so where are we at now? We just had
the
the
Marvels.
Marvels. Let's tear through the rest of the year here. Maybe go through these a little faster. Second run. Okay, yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja, is that animated or live action?
I think that's animated, but this is produced by Seth Rogen, I think.
Oh, interesting.
So I guess we're going to get the Ninja Turtles smoking weed.
I was going to say the Stone.
And we know why they order all that pizza.
Yeah.
So that'll be something. Sidebar. Ninja Turtles. The original Ninja Turtles movie is great. That's all I had to say.
The Corey Feldman?
The original, Corey Feldman was in a bunch of them, but I think the original Ninja Turtles 1 is fantastic.
Yeah, I don't remember having any heat with it. Yeah.
It is. It's got a lot of mature themes in it, you know.
Yeah.
And the martial arts in it is great, and it's practical, you know. It was actually produced by. They tried to get that made over here, and nobody wanted to do it. So they actually farmed it out to an overseas company. It was produced by Golden Harvest, who produced all those Jackie Chan movies.
That's why it had that very unique look to it, and that's
Yeah.
probably what made it work so well.
Yeah.
Especially with that time period in the timeline, in our timeline. I think that's
Yeah.
probably why it got over so well.
I remember one I want to say maybe this didn't really happen, but I distinctly remember just one weekend going to the movies, and it was Ninja Turtles and House Party, and it was like the greatest double feature.
Oh man. Oh man. Dude, and this is the year that we get another Ninja Turtles and another House Party.
Oh my God, you're right. See, that's not even on this list. So there's all kinds of other stuff that is not on this list.
Oh, I loved the House Party series.
Yeah.
Man, they were so good.
All right, Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, produced by Seth Rogen.
Okay.
Then we've got Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle. Time is a flat circle. Well, this Blue Beetle was the first fully endorsed film by James Gunn. If you don't include the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
As his new role as co-CEO, he shared this poster. So whatever fallout happens with DC, Blue Beetle is going to be left intact. It's going to be Miguel from Cobra Kai is playing Blue Beetle, so it's good booking.
Sure.
Yeah, he's going to get over, so I'm in. I enjoyed, if you're into any cool DC animation rules, I highly, highly recommend Batman, the Brave and the Bold. And it's just basically Batman, and every week he would partner up with a more obscure hero. And that was my first introduction into Blue Beetle.
I'll take it. We'll try it. We'll give it a shot.
Give it a whirl.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot. Blue Beetle. After Blue Beetle, we've got... Oops, sorry. There we got... then we get a little bit of a break there, but then we've got Kraven the Hunter.
So this is... Oh, and they're releasing it in the same weekend as It's Morbin Time? Wow, that's brave, Sony. I hope they feel good about that. Aaron Taylor Johnson is Kraven. They're going to take another heel character and try to make it an anti-hero and hope they get that Venom effect. We'll see how it goes. Aaron Taylor Johnson being in the running for James Bond, which I heard recently too. So is he going to have a moment? Or is it just going to be another... For me, this is going to be make or break for Sony. If they drop the ball on another live action, just sign it back over to Marvel and just like let us just keep the animation and just please give us a cut of that Spider-Man money.
Why don't they just have their own Spider-Man by this point? That's what I don't understand. Why doesn't Sony just have their own Spider-Man? Well, isn't there other Spider-Mans they can do?
Yeah. I mean, they're doing it in the animated, right, with Miles Morales.
Yeah, but I mean, they could bring back Toby or Andrew Garfield or just anything.
Yeah.
The Spiderverse movies showed that there's a million Spider-Mans they could choose from.
Right. And the rumor was that they were going to do that with Andrew Garfield, but he had no faith in their ability to pull it off. So this is...
I don't blame them.
Yeah, this is going to be big. Although supposedly this Kraven, the hunter, from the comics, he was more of a meat-eating hunter. And this one, he's supposed to be more of a Daniel Bryan Save the Planet character like he did in his WWE days. So I know there was a little bit of heat. I was like, man, you can't... There hasn't even been a still that has been released and you already have heat. Yeah. That's not a good sign.
Not a good sign, but it's a movie.
Yeah, and it's October, so we'll be there, but hopefully they do it.
I'll probably wait till it hits stars.
That is their go-to, huh?
Yeah. So anyway, we've got a little bit of a breather there. Give everybody a chance to watch Kraven the Hunter. November 3rd, we've got Dune Part 2.
Dune 2. Did you enjoy the first Dune?
I thought the first Dune was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first Dune was great. Enjoyed it quite a bit. Watched it multiple times on HBO Max. I'm a big fan. I've never read the books, but I'm just a fan of Dune in general because of that documentary about Alejandro Jodorowsky trying to make Dune.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that.
You should watch that documentary. Alejandro Jodorowsky tried to make a version of Dune pre-Star Wars.
Oh, way back then.
Pre-Star Wars.
Wow.
And like, what happened here? Yeah, it's really interesting. You should watch it. And he was sort of like an artsy fartsy Mexican director, right? He made like the first big LSD movie, El Topo, which was like his big thing. Anyway, he did the entire movie as a book, a comic book. It's all drawn out. The designs are crazy. He booked everybody that went on to become famous. He booked them first. He booked Dan O'Bannon. He booked H.R. Geiger.
Really?
Yeah. He booked Salvador Dali to be in it. He booked Orson Welles. And like he was just so charismatic that he got everybody into the movie. He got Pink Floyd to do the soundtrack.
Okay, I gotta watch this.
He had it all lined up, all in a giant 500-page book ready to go, and nobody bit. They said no. This is too crazy. We can't do anything like this. And then a couple years later, Star Wars comes out and blows up.
Yeah. So. And George Lucas borrowed the whole spice from the Dune.
Yeah, and then Geiger took his designs that he designed for the Dune original movie to Alien.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, because he worked with Dan O'Bannon.
See, Hollywood, you're always so fast to say no. Always so fast. Sometimes you don't get it. Just because you have the purse strings doesn't mean you understand the creative. Let the bankers bank and let the creators create.
I don't know if you have a Blu-ray player, but I do have that movie on Blu-ray if you would like to borrow it.
I do. I do have my Blu-ray still hooked up.
It's funny, dude. There's a story in there. He goes to try and book Pink Floyd to do the soundtrack, and he's talking to him, and they're like eating cheeseburgers, they're eating McDonald's while they talk to him, and he gets so pissed off that he's slapping the McDonald's out of their hands. And like, I'm trying to offer you the opportunity of a lifetime. And he talked him into it. I recommend it. Check it out.
Pink Floyd music for Dune. If that would have gotten made, people to this day would still be talking about, I'm going to partake and I'm going to watch Pink Floyd, listen to Pink Floyd while I watch Dune.
Yeah, he had David Carradine was Duke Leto.
Oh, wow.
He booked his own son to be, what's the name of the character? Timothy Chalamet's part.
Oh.
He booked his own son, right? And he booked his own son to do it, and he put his son in martial arts and let him train for like 5 years as he developed the movie with the full intention of putting him in the movie.
Wow. All right, yeah.
It's a wild story.
I got to borrow that.
Anyway.
I'm in.
All right, Dune 2. We'll go see that.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
Now, this is confusing because we've got Dune 2 followed by Wonka. Isn't that the same company?
Yeah, they are. They aren't.
Is Wonka Warner Brothers as well?
Yeah, Wonka is Warner.
So you got
Brothers,
a Timothy Chalamet.
Although that's like a big month apart, though. I mean, they got some breathing room there.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the Tim Burton Wonka. Didn't really work for me.
It grew on me, and it's one of those shows, and it had what we would, I guess, deem the cable effect, where you watch things over and over again. I fell asleep seeing it in theaters.
Yeah.
And then rewatching it there, it has a different feel after rewatching it again and again. It's a separate experience. It is a variant of the original film for sure.
Did not like Johnny Depp's take on Wonka.
You didn't like that take?
No, Gene Wilder as the cynical, jaded a-hole that's my Wonka.
Yeah. That's not my Wonka.
Yeah. Everything about like that movie. Well, I mean, that movie's like a big LSD movie as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So, didn't work for me. We'll see what this is. Yeah, I don't know.
Is this going to be? Is he playing the Johnny Depp prequel or the Gene Wilder
I don't
prequel?
know. I don't know if this is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or if this is Young Wonka.
It's Young Wonka.
Okay.
For
See,
sure.
I don't even. Now I'm less interested. So
because we got a little bit of, we had Count Dooku as Wonka's dad.
Yeah.
Right. So
I don't know. We'll see what this is.
The film serves as a prequel to the 1964 novel of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Okay. So it's a prequel to the novel, so I guess it's going to be something completely different.
I don't know
Mr.
about
Bean's in it? They got Mr. Bean.
Who else? I don't know.
All right,
I don't know. We'll see. It's a movie. We'll probably check it out.
Godfather. Young Wonka like Godfather 2. What do we got next?
5 days later, we've got the new Ghostbusters. No idea what this is. But I think we're returning to New York, apparently.
Interesting.
Ghostbusters. I mean, Afterlife was okay. I had no heat with it.
Yeah,
it's a little bit of a cash grab, a little bit of a, I don't know. We'll see.
So this is now going to be launching what was launched in that movie that you said goodbye to the Ghostbusters as we know it, but now you're going to have, they're still going to be attached in some way. So Ernie Hudson and Dan Aykroyd at the minimum will be somehow part of this, but they're going to be more of, they're financiers and they're mentors. They're not going to be the busters.
Honestly, I think the worst part of that movie was the original Ghostbusters showing up.
Really?
Yeah. I think that entire scene just seemed ridiculous to me. I think the movie was on solid footing until then. when just kind of just cram that in there. We could have. I don't know. Just that didn't work for me.
It was that, but it. I don't think that's going to happen in this one. I think that was the official passing of the torch.
Yeah, and I feel like I can just like tag Hollywood. Can you tag Hollywood in this promo real quick? Just come up with new gadgets. Why the ghost traps just do everything now?
Yeah.
All you need is a proton pack and a ghost trap. Well, they haven't come up with a single new gadget in 50 years.
Yeah, they need new gadgets. I totally agree. And she's, the granddaughter of Egon. She's going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
Let her build. Like, I took my grandfather's technology and I built upon it.
Right.
So we'll see. It's hard to speculate, but Finn Wolfhard is going to be booked.
So either way, here we are. We're way deep into next year. We're talking about Ghostbusters 5 and we feel nothing. We're dead. We're dead inside. 5 days later, we get Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. For Christmas. Is that exactly what you asked for?
This Christmas was pretty light on films, right? All you had was Avatar and Babylon. Like, I remember sitting there and like, usually during the Christmas break, you had to go to the movies multiple times.
There's nothing to watch right now except
no, there's
Avatar.
not. Yeah.
I've been trying to go see a film and I want to see Babylon. But I just can't bring myself to do it. It's kind of
speaking of partaking before you go see a movie, Babylon.
That's one to do it. And the thing is, these run times just intimidate me. It's hard to sit in a movie for 3 hours and 9 minutes plus trailers is tough. That's a tough ask.
I need to find that director to find out how did he get Final Cut and say, yeah, we need 3.5 hours of Babylon.
Yeah,
that movie needed to be 90 minutes.
I'm interested in it, and I've heard nothing but bad things about it, but I still want to see it. I like movies about Hollywood, so
it's a spectacle of old Hollywood.
Yeah.
And it was a movie that started really strong, and as it went on, you were like, okay, get to it.
Yeah.
But like seeing silent films go into the talkies, that was interesting.
Yeah.
That was for that, but man, they went in some wacky directions.
So Jason Momoa is the main event, Christmas Day, Aquaman 2.
Change that to The Last Kingdom.
Yeah.
Because that is going to be his last, if rumors are true, Aquaman is going to become Lobo, so that'll be the last Aquaman, and that'll be the last of the Snyderverse.
I don't know how you feel about it, but I found the original Aquaman to be unwatchable. I thought that it was to me it felt like Transformers, where you talked about it was so confusing with too much going on. That's how I felt about Aquaman.
Well, we talked about it. I can tell you one of the things, Dirty Water Pal. That was one of the things.
Yeah.
They have the whole Amber Heard things they gotta have to hurdle over. Then they have the whole James Gunn thing.
Yeah.
And then they had the people like me, again, talking about Batman the Brave and the Bold. You had to take a big leap. Like, this is a completely different Aquaman than we ever grew up with.
All I know is if this movie gets over, if Aquaman 2 gets over, they need to give James Wan $100 million to make Malignant 2.
Oh, yeah.
Because
let's do that.
Look, he's super successmal, but man, he's had a rough go of it. He had Paul Walker die in the middle of filming of Fast 7.
Yeah.
Now he's got Aquaman 2, which is a mess. It just sounds like a total mess. They have cutting out Amber Heard, doing reshoots. They had to punt that as far as they possibly could because you got 2 water movies that just came out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And anyway, and now it's coming at the end of the year where DC's about to be rebooted, and these movies are just hanging out there like laundry.
Dude, think of this. We got the news last month that DC's going to be rebooted, but then we have a whole year
of films
before it even gets rebooted.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be no James Gunn property that's coming out before that. So that's a lot to sit on. So what are they going to do to keep people excited? Because now you basically said this is the end of the line to these films, but they're not necessarily booked to be the end of the line.
Yeah.
Are you one of those people that if they find out they're canceling a show before you finish watching it, do you just give up because you don't want to be left hanging?
Well, I mean, I think that if they're smart, they are re-editing these films or doing reshoots to eliminate any of the post-credit scenes or any of the dangling participles that they can tag on to give folks the indication that there might be a sequel. They're just going to be like, and that's the end. The end. And then Aquaman swam happily ever after. And the Flash finally slowed down.
Yeah. It just sat down. And
I think I'll take a rest now. And he's on a rocking chair and just like watching the sunset. And that's the end of the movie.
There's part of I know both of these movies have been in hold, but I feel like Flash being the one that's going to introduce the multiverse, it's going to be tough to make Aquaman the last movie of what we call the Snyder Cut without explaining what's going to happen. Like, do these story threads just end, or are they going to use it as pivot points?
I think they're they got to wipe the slate clean here. I think they've just got to get these movies, just got to get them out of here. It's
Man,
like,
but as a filmmaker, isn't there a part of you that wishes that you can have a run because you can somehow salvage this and like shoot some stuff to make this, use it as a pivot point to like that meme, so that you can still get what you need to get from these films and honor what came before it, but then start going in that other direction.
I'm sure they would like to do that, but these movies are already hobbled. Like,
yeah, they're already hobbled together.
The DCEU's been hobbled for a long time, and they've been patching it up, putting Band-Aids on it, and trying to make it work. But yeah, it's time to just flip the board over, reset.
Man, but I don't want to lose Peacemaker, buddy. You're right. It's going to be tough to see how he does that, because I do not want to lose Peacemaker and his wife, and the booking and the characters in that are so good. But all right, do you come off as hypocritical if you don't literally wipe the entire slate clean? How is it going to get over where James Gunn that says the only thing that's going to be canon in this new DC is the stuff that I do?
Yeah, I mean, what else can you do? Like, I think that,
and his stuff is great. So can you argue? His Suicide Squad was a million times better.
Yeah.
Than the original Suicide Squad. I had no problem with that film. It was just released in a weird time in history.
Yeah. I thought it was great. Probably one of the better DCEU movies, but it's just time to wipe the slate clean. Remember, they want to make these movies forever. So they've got to start from the bottom and rebuild it.
Agreed. Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, man.
How about a quick break?
Yeah, let's take a break. We'll be right back. We'll catch up with some Dynamite, grab a snack or something.
All right, be back.
Want a beer? Mm-hmm. You know, this is really an interesting six-pack. See how it's completely covered? See the ends? Covered. Mm-hmm. That's so light won't get in. Light can spoil beer. Mm-hmm. And this is good beer, so they don't want light messing around with it.
Well, in that case, why don't we turn off the lights?
Where are you going? To get a Stroh's. That's about a 200-mile hike through heavy snow. I know. If you think of it, get two.
From one beer lover to another's
I don't know what to do. What would you do if you were me? America's got this beer. It's called Stroh's Light, and it's fire brewed. It's not like any other beer. So I call the State Department and say, let's make a trade. Our cigars for your Stroh's Light. They say, Fidel, you're going to have to forget about it.
It's not the same as other lights. It's fire-brewed Stroh's Light.
We're only 90 miles away. We can't even get a decent beer.
prices on all new releases at Rogers Video.
Hi, Video Sam's got exciting news for you. You can now rent a video overnight and hire these great movies from only 99 cents. But the best news is that by purchasing our special package plan, you can have this VCR absolutely free. Ring now, 892-3311 for details of this amazing offer. You could have a video at home tonight. Remember, 892-3311. Video Sam's libraries are convenient to you.
Rent a video player, too. There's a store near you, sweetheart.
Movies tonight on video.
They're helpful and friendly with films for the whole family.
Movies tonight on video. Movies tonight on video.
All right, we are back.
Whoa.
We all caught up.
Forgot to put on my spectacles. Okay. Yeah, sorry, we didn't get any snacks for snack time, so we're gonna have to curbside some stuff.
All good, dude. We were using this time. We ate up on some wrestling, and we were catching up on some of the spoilers that JJ was telling us about as well. So, and we needed to cleanse our palate a little because, as you see, there's a lot of films coming out next year, and we didn't even get to talk about the series coming out. But we'll do that. We'll do that next week. So, but let's stay in the film world because it's 2023. Like we were talking about earlier, we're in the 20s, the new 20s, and you hit me up earlier and just like, what did the future get right? What did films get right about the future? Yeah. I should say, right? Because we had a lot of. You brought up a good point that it's the 25th anniversary of Snake Plissken getting locked in New York.
He escaped from New York in 1997.
In 1997, I watched a promo. Do you remember the cartoon Thundar the Barbarian?
Yeah, I remember Thundar.
Thundar the Barbarian. That comet blew past Earth and blew up the moon in 1994.
Wow.
So, and then I don't remember what year. What year was RoboCop? What's the cinematic year?
Oh man, well we gotta know.
Yeah, RoboCop takes place in what year? Anthony, you might know that. Oh, 2043.
Okay, so we're not quite there yet.
20 years away though. Are we? In 20 years, are we going to have cyborg cops?
You know what's isn't that amazing that RoboCop's 2043, but the future that it predicted is not all that drastically different. There's no flying cars. Everybody drives a Ford Taurus.
Yeah.
They have video phones. That's about the most high-tech thing in it, and they got robot cops. We got robot cops now.
We do. I did see that, what was it, Ed 209 or Ed 309, they did approve for use where they could actually terminate a human if deemed a criminal.
Yeah.
That's pretty scary.
That stuff exists. They shoot a drone at you. Like if you're held up with a gun somewhere, they just shoot a drone at you with a bomb, and that's it.
We've worked, you and I, in our B2B company, we work with developers. Do you trust some of these developers to know which one to get right and which one to get wrong?
No. RoboCop got a lot right. RoboCop is probably one of the most accurate predictions of the future.
Yeah.
Ever.
I think you're right. And it was very similar to, would you put RoboCop and Total Recall in the same universe? I feel like it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same director, so I think they have a very similar feel. So I could see that. I don't know what year Total Recall took place in, but that one seems a little more high-tech than RoboCop.
Let's go to Mars. You're in a Johnny cab.
Yeah. Man, Can we just talk about RoboCop for all? That's a great movie.
I never saw what I call Drone Man now because I never did see that yet. I've been looking on streaming to find it.
If you just skip the opening titles and just know that it's called Drone Man, it's not terrible.
I knew it was going to be one of those movies that I was going to wait to see, and it'll be well into the future, ironically, before I say it. I did the same thing with Fright Night. I did the same thing with Total Recall, the Colin Farrell remakes. I waited, and requels are the way to go. Is what
I just got that Total Recall 4K Blu-ray, and I was watching it the other night. Man, what a great movie!
Yeah,
what a great looking movie. Movies just don't look good anymore. I think it probably has a lot to do with the digital photography we do now. Quentin
Tarantino just said, "Yeah, it must." Did you send me that? Because I was like, I just heard him say that.
I think he says it a lot, but and I'm a mark for any Tarantino interviews. By the way, did you listen to the new video archives? I gotta watch Bustin'. I want to see that.
Bustin',
and I can't.
I'm behind. I'm like 2 episodes behind.
Man, it's the best. The movie Bustin' that they're talking about on this latest episode sounds awesome. I want to watch it.
1974, a cop comedy starring Elliot Gould and Robert Blake.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, definitely want to see that. That podcast makes me wish I lived in Los Angeles just so I go to New Beverly and watch those films after I listen to the podcast.
I know, because that's how he books it. And after that, then they do the double features of that. So I would love to do that. I do have some of these films I'm going to scroll through here really quick. So we'll start with 10 things that movies got from the past that got right about the future. We already talked about one.
Does it say which movie said what?
Yeah, it does.
All right.
So there's a lunar exploration obviously speaks for itself. In 1902, they predicted that we're going to go to the moon. Not everybody believes that, but we did. Ironically, we were talking about how Airplane 2 got Rocky 74 right when it had that poster. But did you know in 1982, Airplane 2, titled The Sequel, got airport body scanners right?
Well, so did Total Recall.
Total Recall 2 did too, right? With the gun?
Yeah. One of the best shots in Total Recall. Here's the crazy thing. They did predict us going to the moon, but now we can't go to the moon anymore.
Right? Yeah.
Why is that?
Why did we not go to the moon is the biggest question.
Why do we not go to the moon anymore?
Well, we can get into, is the moon really there when we're not looking? But you're right. They haven't done anything with that. That's a great movie. Why don't we go to the moon anymore? Just call it that.
Yeah. Solid. That's a podcast.
Yeah. That's why a nice cinematic podcast. Why do we not go to the moon anymore? We knew this. Star Trek 1979 predicted cell phones, and they actually named it the StarTAC, and it looked like it was based on.
And the iPads.
And they got iPads.
They had iPads in them.
Yep.
Shout out to everybody out there who calls it Star Trek.
Yeah.
And not Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
It's Star Trek. It's not Star Trek.
You're right. I don't think I changed to Star Trek until I moved here.
Those are the same folks who call it Whataburger.
Then they're wrong. Have you heard of a movie from 1999 called Smart House?
No.
Me neither. It's a Disney movie, but apparently they predicted smart homes. But I think that was well before that, right? Guess not.
I don't know.
It was AI. The Cable Guy in 1996.
Very poignant.
Yes.
I watched that not too long ago.
Technology integration. They got into the Internet of Things.
Shout out to Sling for feeding me that movie. Man, I love Sling. I need to get them as a sponsorship on here. It is the best. They always they're I don't know. I appreciate them lining up movies for me. You know?
Yeah.
The other day they were playing The Color of Money, which is a great
you were telling me about another movie, and I was like, where are you seeing that? And you're like, I don't know, Sling fed it to me.
Yeah. Oh, that was 25 or 20 5/25/77. I don't know. The day Star Wars came out.
Oh, yes.
That's the date. Interesting watch. I recommend checking it out.
Yeah, I'm down to see that.
But yeah, Smart House did not see that one.
Yeah, Jim Carrey, he got a lot of heat for this movie. Like, a lot of people thought it was too dark.
Folks weren't ready for that one.
No, they were not ready for it.
You watch it now, it's very poignant. It works.
He said it in there. Soon every American home will integrate their television, phone, and computer. And soon you'll be able to shop from your home. You got all that right.
Yeah.
Obviously, hackers hacked the planet. They had VR headsets in there. Although VR headsets still are not, I mean, they're out there now. They're not as rare, but they haven't had that one Super Mario games that's getting everybody to do it. But you go to those AR events, and those are huge. Like they have one here in the Domain, right? The alien fight. That's really big. So it's close. It's really close. What about electric billboards from Blade Runner? I mean, that was 1982. Where remember the big deal of seeing like a billboard that actually changed, that wasn't just a piece of plaster that was glued on there?
Yeah.
That was 1982. They got that right.
Yeah.
We talked about this Total Recall, the Johnny cabs, self-driving cars.
We're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
That's not really working out.
No.
Johnny Cab was probably a better idea.
Yeah, Johnny. Well, Uber is working on Johnny cabs, right? Uber and Google are racing right now. I don't know if you read this, that they're buying out lots of lands around all these like metropolitan areas, and that's where the fleet of cars that are going to be. So, and they're funding it with, like Uber's funding it with people driving that right now. So they're driving themselves out of a courier. But we're close. I think we're really close with that.
Dude, Google's trying to eliminate us all.
They just want to be the Did you read, speaking of self-driving cars, did you read the guy who fell asleep and put his Tesla on autopilot and took a car and the cops chased him for 15 minutes?
Yeah, what do you think his
Is autopilot that good?
I guess.
I don't know. I didn't trust that.
Can he get in trouble for that?
If he wasn't driving, I feel like it depends on the state, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can he prove he wasn't driving?
Yeah. That's a good question.
I don't know. I'm not into this self-driving car stuff. I don't even have one of those cars that has an iPad in it in the middle. My car just has a key that you put in to turn on.
It would be nice to not drive.
No digital gauges. It's got the whatchamacallits, the needles.
Oh, the physical dials.
It's got a CD player.
Oh, JJ said that does go against Tesla's terms of service. What if you were sleeping in the passenger seat?
Yeah. What if you're really hammered? Would they prefer you drive the Tesla?
Yeah, was he being responsible?
Real quick, I need to go back to RoboCop and say RoboCop 2 gets too much heat. I think it's great.
Oh yeah, I didn't know it did. I don't remember much about 3, but I never had a problem with 1 or 2.
2 is really good. It's not directed by Verhoeven, so it doesn't have the same feel. I think it's directed by Frank Miller, I want to say.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And 3 had a completely different casting, right? Is that way?
3, yeah, Peter Weller was gone. Nancy Allen was still in it.
Yeah, so once you do that, that is the Vance and Coey Dukes of Hazzard event.
Yeah.
Like what you talked about, you can't rebook midstream like that.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. It was 2001 Space Odyssey in 1968 that predicted tablets and video calls even before Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek.
They had video calls. And Minority Report in 2002 would targeted ads where as you were walking by, they were feeding you the ads. But that's way earlier than 2002, right? Because if you're talking about that's Philip K. Dick, so you're getting into, he was calling that in the 60s, and that dude saw so much truth that he lost his mind. Like his brain was in the future while his consciousness was in the past.
Something like that.
So that's all that I really had on that list. Is there any that jump out to you? Like, do you feel like 2020 in a way made some of WALL-E come true?
How's that?
I just felt like everybody felt this when you did not realize how much walking you actually did in a day when you had to go to the office until you stopped going to the office.
Yeah.
I mean, I see if you track your steps and your Fitbit's down, even if you tell yourself to get up and walk, you were doing this without thinking. And remember in WALL-E, they just basically stopped walking, right? The chair was basically moving them around.
I don't feel like I've recovered from 2020, honestly.
No, I don't think that.
I feel like 2020 did me bodily harm. I think it did physical damage to my body. Like obviously I'm getting old now, but I don't think my ankles ever recovered.
Yeah.
When you don't have to walk every day in the same way, think your body changes.
It's atrophy, man.
Yeah.
It's a slower form of atrophy.
Yeah. So, yeah, totally.
So in a way, Wally kind of saw that was kind of happening.
Yeah.
I love Wally, man. We were talking
I
about
love Wally
anime.
too. Wally's fantastic.
I don't know if that was peak. I feel like Wally and Up were peak Pixar for me.
I agree.
Those two.
I agree.
Like you can put those against any. What about the movie that you used in the thumbnail? Let's talk a little bit about that because it is the year 2023, and now we're expecting everybody to dress like Sean Connery in that picture. Do you have that you can pull up? What was the name of that film?
That was called Zardoz. Zardoz is a 1974 science fantasy film written and directed by John Borman. Plot. Let's see. It depicts a post-apocalyptic world, which Borman says in the auto commentary is matriarchal, where barbarians worship Zardoz, a stone god with the power to grant either death or eternal life.
Oh, interesting. Have you seen? I've never saw it. I mean, but I saw that picture popping up everywhere, and that was the year it was depicting, and I was like, I feel like that's got to be a Weird Wednesday film.
I've actually never seen it, so
never seen it.
Yeah,
Sean Connery, man,
that was originally a role written for Burt Reynolds.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
So you can tell he's got the Burt Reynolds mustache in the image.
Sean Connery was doing those types of films that, to me, I mean, Time Bandits is one of my favorite films. I can go back and watch that again and again, and he made an appearance in there. But you can't picture older Sean Connery when he got kind of angry at Hollywood and then kind of became an action star, taking movies like Stardust or Time Bandits.
Yeah.
But what was weird is he was kind of an action guy before that anyway.
He was James Bond.
Yeah, he was the original James Bond.
He's the original action guy.
What changed? What changed that made him so angry?
Don't know.
R.I.P. But no, that was really good. There was sometimes sci-fi movies got the future completely wrong. You want to make that our final spot? That would be our go home spot.
What did they get wrong?
2001: A Space Odyssey failed to anticipate the end of the space race. JJ, you might have to appreciate that because they completely got that wrong, and I think JJ's show for all mankind would probably be a better depiction of what the space race should look like. But like you said, we never even went back to the moon.
No,
like we haven't done anything. Like the closest we had to go into space was Elon Musk sending that car a couple of years back.
Yeah.
Which, man, talk about a variant Elon Musk. He actually called that out in his own tweet today. He's like, do you realize it was like 9 or 12 months ago he was named like Time Person of the Year?
Yeah.
And now, but like he was sending people to space. He had like electric car. Like he felt like he was going to be the Tony Stark, but he was the closest we had to like a space race. And now no one's doing anything going into space. What does that mean?
I don't know. Did something in space scare the crap out of everybody?
Man, that's very well possible. Do you know? Here's a scary fact. Who has the biggest telescope in the world? The most powerful telescope in the world?
No idea.
The Vatican.
Oh, why is that?
Good question.
Anthony says the space race is covert now. Okay, well that makes sense.
Oh, it's more covert. Yeah, because I did read that they're like, because who's going to claim the moon? Like if you go back there.
I called it years ago.
Yeah.
I called dibs.
It's like calling shotgun.
I saw it first. I saw it years ago. Moon is mine. As soon as we got there.
Called shotgun. So yeah, I guess covert makes a little more sense. Blade Runner's 2019 is a far cry from our own. Blade Runner in 2019, that was nothing like our 2019.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the billboards were right.
Yeah, the billboards were right.
Flying cars are never going to be a thing, though.
No, they were totally wrong on that.
That'll just never be a thing. That's insane.
Yeah. It's too scary. Like I can maybe make people fly around, but like, although that would just be scary, but like pieces of metal falling from the sky sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
What about the drones? That was the closest we got, right?
I guess if you call that a flying car, sure.
The Amazon drones dropping off packages.
Did that ever happen?
No, I don't think it ever happened.
They took a great idea and turned it into a weapon.
Yeah, and it didn't work. It's like, okay. Time Cop thought we would have time travel by 1994.
How do we know we don't?
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, yeah, because if you have time travel, the number one rule is you can't interfere with yourself. So if you ever feel like someone's stalking you, it could be your future self that's looking.
I don't know. It happens in sequel boots all the time.
Yeah, it did. Back to the Future Part 2 foresaw bike helmets as a fashion piece. How is that? No, I think that's right. I don't think they got that necessarily wrong. Terminator Salvation, that one was more famous for Christian Bale's outburst. That was 2018. That was completely wrong. Right? There was.
Well, what was the prediction?
Well, just that future. I mean, the future was already pretty wrecked, and the Terminators walking around. We didn't have that in 2018.
Yeah.
But again, 84, they got it.
It accurately predicted that they could never make a good Terminator again.
Oh yeah, that last one. And remember, you just had so much hope, and that one actually turned out to be better than the one that was stamped approved by James Cameron. That last one I struggled with.
Yeah,
that really did struggle.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Did you see that old movie Soylent Green? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember Soylent Green.
Soylent Green makes some eerie predictions that are thankfully wrong. That was 1973. Focused on an alternate 2022 where humanity has been devastated by world hunger, climate change, and overpopulation. Well, they got that part right.
Yeah, we're there.
Interpretation of the future is echoed by news networks constantly in our own 22. It failed to consider humanity's answer to these issues wouldn't be to start eating each other. So cannibalism. They got cannibalism wrong. Escape from New York was only half wrong about modern day New York.
Yeah.
Have you been? New York got cleaned up a lot, but there's definitely parts. It's New York in the 70s and in the 80s was way scarier than it is now. Mm-hmm. Like just walking around, there's a lot of parts like that. Escape from New York back then. That's how New York felt. Yeah. Like dirty Times Square compared to clean Times Square. So I guess they kind of got that wrong.
Well, they probably got some other things right though.
Yeah.
I can't think of what those are anymore, but.
Well, it's going to get to the point where, what if it gets to where they Rollerball and Total Recall, where you're like, I don't think we're that far off from these two. Like now, we've never seen it in a game show where people are actively trying to kill somebody, but if you watch Dana White's Slap Fight League that's coming out really soon,
yeah,
we're really close, man.
That feels a lot like Idiocracy to me. Like, it does. It's like Ow My Balls.
Yeah, exactly, dude. That is the worst, and they're calling it a combat sport. But you're like, wait, what? I mean, wrestling and like Greco-Roman wrestling, that goes back to like way, way back in time, like the whole Greek and Greco-Roman, like the grappling part of it, which became like human chess, like test of strength. This is something that you did with your siblings in the basement when your parents like, what the hell are you doing down there? You better not be slapping each other. That wasn't a sport what we were doing.
I got a pitch for Dana White. Here's your next show, Knockout Game.
What is that? You
don't remember Knockout Game? And kids used to play that in elementary school where they pinch your jugular till you pass out. You don't remember that game?
No.
Maybe that was just my middle school.
Well, that's what I mean. You had all these rogue Lord of the Flies games. Like my brother convinced me that there was a game where we built blanket forts in our rooms and we put our head on there. And if you got hit with the wiffle ball bat, you were out. And he was just using it as an excuse to hit us in the head with a wiffle ball bat.
There's your next great show right there.
So, but can you not foresee, like, would there be somebody that says, oh, hey, we'll take care of your family for the rest of your life if you're willing to play this game we call Running Man and you have to get hunted? Because they already do games like Death Race. Well, not Cannonball Run, like the race across the country and stuff. I don't know. I feel like we're really close still. We haven't hit that, but we're on the edge.
Well, I mean, we were veering towards that. There was a game not too long ago where it was like, do these challenges and we'll pay your student loans.
Oh man! And what would you not do to do that? I mean, why?
I signed up. I sent in a tape.
Like, yeah, if you were Fear Factor, like if somebody says come in here right now and just like cut off the scorpion stinger and then eat it alive. So it can't sting you, but it's still going to bite you and eat it, and we'll pay off your school loans.
Yeah.
You're going to do it? There's going to be a lot of people that are going to do it.
It's going to happen.
And then you're going to record it.
Yep.
Man, are we going to turn in? And what happens with standard and practices on that? And
Those
then
are out the window.
And then you can't say no scorpion was harmed in the making of this. Did PETA ever go after Fear Factor for round 2?
I think that was pre-PETA.
That was pre-PETA?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff they ate was alive, right?
Yeah.
That they had to swallow them whole. Survivor did that too, right?
Yeah, but that was more of it wasn't a challenge. They were just really hungry.
Is this just to swallow larva?
Yeah.
That you can do that? So, yeah, Survivor was pretty close to that now, although they weren't fighting each other. But I noticed in the later seasons, like when they'd have a physical challenges, they would be knocking the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
So it's all just about the spectacle in there. So, but
that's what
I'm
they
surprised
said.
Slap Fight and Ow My Balls isn't a TikTok game show. The first TikTok game show, Ow My Balls. All right, that's all I got.
That's a good way to go out on Ow My Balls.
TikTok presents Ow My Balls. But that was good. So next week we can talk about all the anticipated series that are coming out, which I think by this time next week, will we have seen The Last of Us? Or are you going to watch that right out of the gate?
I'll probably check it out. I'm not sure. I'm like I said, I'm not super hyped for that, but I'll definitely.
That's getting right.
I
now,
watch stuff.
That's getting pre-Walking Dead. Like, remember the heat going up into Walking Dead? That's what The Last of Us is getting right now.
Yeah.
Like this, that is going to be the next big show. So we're going to do that. Bad Batch dropped first 2 episodes, and Dave We Trust. If you're a Star Wars nerd, highly recommend that. But yeah, we'll talk about the most anticipated series.
Also, we're going to talk about stuff we're doing this year.
Yes.
Because we do more than just watch stuff.
Yes, we do.
We make stuff to be watched.
Yes, and if you did watch our Christmas business, we're gonna make that. I think we make that festival ready, and then we shoot something else.
I'm about to have 3 whiskeys and order that brand new Panasonic camera.
Yeah.
And that's gonna kick us off.
Yeah, we do. Our goal is before the end of the year, we have to film 3 more things, and we have to do at least 1 live spot show. We have to do this live in front of a live studio audience.
That's coming.
That's going to be our goal. So.
All right, take us home.
Yes, take us home. So let's end it with, I'll buy that for $1.
That guy became president, by the way.
That's right.